In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can add electrical conduits to an Autodesk Revit project. Conduits are basically pipes that we're going to run our wiring through, and similar to plumbing, I want to make sure that I limit the angles that the pipes can be created at. If we're using conduits with fittings, we can't just draw them at any angle. Our fittings are available at certain angles. So that's the first thing that we'll do. I'll go to the Systems tab, then the electrical panel, and then I will select the bottom right drop down to get into my electrical settings. I'll select the angles option, and currently it's set to use any angle. That might be okay if it's continuous conduit that's being bent, but we're going to use fittings, so we want to make sure we use specific angles. I'm going to remove the last two here. That way I'm only doing 30, 45, 60, and 90 degree angles. I'll go ahead and click OK. Next, I am going to take a look at which panel I want to draw the conduit from. So in this case, I'm going to go from lighting panel 1. So it has a connection up on top. I'm going to go to the Systems tab and the electrical panel and select conduit. I'm then going to choose the type of conduit that I want. So we are going to use conduit with fittings, electrical metal tubing. Then I want to connect it to lighting panel 1. I'm just going to select lighting panel 1 and I will get a zoomed in view of it to indicate where it's going to connect. I'll go ahead and click Finish Connection and it will now be drawing off of that. I'm going to set my diameter to 2 inches and my middle elevation to 9 foot 6 inches. Then I am going to go ahead and draw this all the way across this first set of classrooms. Doesn't have to go completely into this last room. Basically, I just want to have it to where the wiring will feed into that room. I'm going to press Escape once, which will keep me in the conduit tool. Then I'm going to draw straight down to this southernmost wing here, and I'll do the same thing. Next, I'm going to add conduits in each hallway and each row of classrooms. So while we don't see any lighting in the hallway just yet, we will add some later, so we want to make sure we have some conduits there. And then I'll continue to do the same thing on the rest of the rooms. So you'll notice that down here at the very bottom, I got the 90 degree fitting and turn, but anywhere else where I'm branching off of it, I get a junction box. So this is typically required by code. Anytime you change directions with your wiring, it's got to go through a conduit box. We're going to add some additional conduit boxes here at the ends of these conduits. To do so, on the Systems tab, Electrical Panel, I will choose Conduit Fitting. Then I will click the drop down and choose the Conduit Junction Box, Cross Aluminum Standard. And then I want to make sure I snap to the endpoints of each of these. If you don't quite snap correctly, it will not size them correctly. So I can put one at the end of each of these conduits. And the textbook will tell you to add additional ones in classrooms as needed. Technically, we should probably have a junction box in each room because we've got the power running through these conduits, and then when they get into the rooms, the wiring needs to go to the actual lights. So there needs to be a way to come out of there. So one thing I want you to be aware of is the snapping issue. If I click here where it says nearest, it looks like it actually placed it correctly. It is possible to click it like so and have it not resize and not split your conduit. So be careful with that. Basically, you just want to make sure that you actually see the word nearest when you click, and you should be okay. So as I said, technically, they should be in each classroom. You don't necessarily have to create every single one, though. I did notice, though, that looks like I had a problem down here at the end. This one didn't resize. So I'm going to replace that conduit fitting and make sure I see the endpoint snap when I click to place it. I think I'm going to see that same problem on these other ones because I didn't really zoom in when I was placing them. So once again, conduit fitting, I'll just make sure I see the endpoint snap when I click, and I should be okay. That concludes this look at adding electrical conduits to an Autodesk Revit project.